Esports Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Well, hello everyone and welcome to another stream for the AOR official GT3 League on Project Cars 2. We are getting towards the end of Season 12. This is going to be round 8 of 10, and minus the one race that got postponed earlier in the season, so essentially round 7 of 10, but the graphic says 8. It's going to be confusing for the end of the season. But anyway, it's going to be an exciting race because we are here at Daytona Road course for a special 1.5 hour race without qualifying. Instead, we're going to have, just like we did in round 4, a reversed grid order based on the championship standings. That's going to make for a very, very exciting and interesting race, I am sure. I'm of course Fisi, and as usual I am joined in the commentary box by the man, the myth, the legend, Yoki065.
Hello! It's good to see you all again, and hopefully you guys all sat comfy, ready for this round 7, not 8 of Season 12. Very much looking forward to this one, as the Daytona International Road Circuit is a brilliant track for racing, overtaking, and just generally endurance racing. Yeah, this is exciting stuff.
It is indeed, and 1.5 hours of racing, that's as close as we'll get to an endurance race in this season. It's going to be about 50 laps of racing around here, and as you said, yeah, the Daytona Road, a track that really promotes good racing with massive straights on the oval part of the circuit, and then of course the more technical infield part of the track as well. So, as I mentioned, it's not going to be a qualifying for this round. The grid will be decided based on a reverse championship order, which means that the current championship standings is more important than ever in terms of understanding how the cars will line up for this race. So, before we head onto the track, as we're actually waiting for the session to get ready still, there's a few things getting sorted out, so I'll go through the top 10 of the standings as they stand after 6 races actually out of 10 for this season. So there was a swap of championship leader last time out at Zolder when Dalking finished second in the race. Operator finished in 4th, if I remember correctly, which means that Dalking is now leading the championship by 7 points over his teammate and main rival. 249 points for Dalking, 242 for Operator. It remains really, really close between those two, and of course both of them will be starting right towards the back of the field here today, so that will be a big challenge for them to see who can get through the other cars quickest basically throughout that race. Jadier will have another challenge today. He's 3rd in the championship ahead of Empower by 26 points. Only 4 further points behind is Heidi. Let's see if he's actually racing this week. Nope. There we go. The lobby's just loaded in, so I couldn't see if it was there actually. But he missed last week, of course. So we'll see if he's back on the grid for this one. Mr. Van Amman, Jadier's teammate, he is sitting pretty in 6th place, and then from him downwards, it gets very, very close on points with Murph, Dabirsky, Benesili, and Villalobos as well. Of course, there are about 30 active drivers in the league. So, Yoki, it's going to be a lot of cars to get through for those guys at the top of the championship, starting at the back.
Yeah, certainly will be, but obviously with the long oval banking sections, they'll have plenty of room to try and slip past, as obviously they just need to manage the slipstream, pick their right moments, and try and carry the momentum to gain those places without potentially not gaining the position or losing it again once they do momentarily get it. We've just loaded into a short 10-minute qualifying session, which isn't going to be used as the traditional qualifying session. Instead, we're just going to be doing some practice laps. The guys will just drive around the circuit. I think those who are qualifying nearer the front of the grid will actually be trying to put in some semi-decent lap times, just so there's a little bit less organisation that needs to happen on the formation lap that we shall be doing here. But yeah, it'll give us a good chance to look at the drivers under the beautiful lights here at the Daytona night sky.
Indeed, it's going to be a night race for this one. 8 PM race start time in game. So yeah, you can see the lights are on and the sky is dark. So it's going to be a nice atmosphere for these cars to go around. Let's see how many cars we have on the grid. It looks like we're going to have 25 cars.
25.
So yeah, most of the drivers present for this one. I'm sure if I was a driver in this league, I would not miss this race for the world. Whether I was starting towards the front or the back, it's going to be a very exciting race with a jumbled up order. And of course, for the guys who are low down in the championship and starting high as a result in this race, it's a special opportunity for them to get a good result. And at the same time, for the guys starting at the back who are normally towards the front, it's just, you know, it's guaranteed, as long as you stay out of trouble at least, it's guaranteed to be a very, very exciting race as you try to make a way through the pack.
Yeah, definitely, and it certainly seems that those who are starting near the front could actually have a semi-decent chance of a good result here. It all depends on their track knowledge, but generally the faster guys in the league tend to be equipped because they're very, very good through the corners. And obviously with the long straights and the banking section, and actually only 12 corners, there's less opportunity for them to be quicker than everyone else. So I'm hoping that we'll see a pretty close grid and we'll actually see those guys starting from the back actually have to try and work their way through the field a little bit more and hopefully create some more interesting and more intense racing scenarios.
Indeed. I think we can actually try to go on board with Nesterovic on this lap, as he happens to be the car we're watching at the moment, because we don't have a hot lap video for this week, unfortunately. So let's try to work our way through the track.
I was going to say, let's find someone else who is just about to start their lap.
Let's see. There we go. It is. He usually does a hot lap anyway, so here we go. You can take us through a lap of the Daytona Road course.
Yep, so just coming into turn one, you want to try and get close to that tyre wall on the inside, hug it all the way around, try not to take too much curb on the exit as you come through the right-left of turn two there, counted as one corner. Turn three, the international horseshoe, get the car slowed down, hook up the mid-corner apex, run and use all the track width on the outside there. Very nicely done and demonstrated by the Ace. Coming into turn four, the King, completely flat out, before setting yourself up for the Western Horseshoe, turn 5, getting hard on the brakes, down into second gear. It's kind of like a double apex, one there, one just at the end of the curb on the inside before drawing the car wide to the left and getting it back over right for turn 6, leading out onto the bank. And you want to hook up an early apex, run out wide quite nicely, as ADAce demonstrates there. Probably could be a little bit tidier through those corners, but still relatively decent. And we're obviously out onto the banking section, coming through the very long speedway turns 1 and 2, as they are known in the oval configuration. Coming up towards the bus stop chicane, there's a car on our left there who we're letting go through. Hard on the brakes before coming into the bus stop, hammer the first 2 curbs, and then hammer the second 2 on the exit as well. Try and line yourself up for that nice run into speedway 3 and 4. Just hang it down as close as you can to the yellow line down at the apron down there at the bottom. Just coming through what is the fight, essentially the final turn, the very long turn 12 before we come onto the tri-oval section. Again, just taking that shortest line to the start finish line to complete a lap.
Oh yes, that is a lap then of the Daytona Road course, and the drivers will be doing 50 of it today. They'll be getting tired of this by the time this race is over, although of course this track is also famous for its 24-hour races, which you know, 1.5 hours is not actually that much comparatively speaking, but yeah, certainly an exciting track. And we're about halfway through now this little warm-up session that we have at the moment. So we're watching Jadier just getting prepared for this important race. I mean, yeah, Jadier is pretty much out of the championship picture already. It's been a 2-horse race for most of the season, it has to be said, ever since Jadier had his unfortunate disconnection in round 1, actually. it's always been an uphill battle for him, but he is sitting in third in the championship. Unfortunately, though, 86 points behind Operator. And it sounded like last week that he had sort of given up on retaining his championship for a fourth season running. Either way, I'm sure he'll be looking for a back-to-back victory, as he had a very impressive one last time out in Zolder. Did I just see a car in the wall?
You might have. I didn't.
I saw something in the wall anyway.
I was just watching Jardier sliding his way through the bus stop chicane. It's looking very nice and committed.
Yes, indeed, yeah. It's all about just keeping the foot down, really. This part of the track, it's such a long, flat-out section.
Left. Otherwise, that's going to happen.
Well, yeah, through the bus stop, obviously, yeah.
Well, he's now put himself up into third place. I thought I thought the guys were going to take it relatively easy and let those who are meant to be starting from the front kind of qualify higher up in the grid. But no, Jardier was seemed to be, well, probably not completely flat out, but still giving it some fair amount of effort. Yeah, popping himself up into a false third position.
Yeah, so we got Jar in third and we got Jar in fourth, which means it's Jardier in third and Jarmo in fourth at the moment. He's back in the pits currently, as you can see there. Very close times between the two Jars in this practice so far, which is interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be, if the fast drivers do fast laps in this session, it's gonna be just all the more organizing that they'll have to do, all the more position swapping on the formation lap coming up. But hopefully that'll be fun and they'll be able to sort that out as Alexis slides his way through turn 1. Very nice save from him as he's trying to find the limits in that Mercedes. Which, you know, if you're going to go over the limit, you might as well do it in practice. As he slides once again and goes back to the pit lane.
Yeah, I think he was doing that on purpose, the way he was kind of chucking the car around a little bit more aggressively than you usually would. So it was just having some fun in the last 2 minutes of this session before we get underway with the race. Quite a nice exit there from Villalobos. It looked like that momentarily he was going to be doing exactly the same, but not quite. But yeah, very much looking forward to getting this one underway, because it's hopefully going to be a pretty intense one.
Well, it's guaranteed to be tons of action, isn't it, really, with a jumbled up grid, so it's just anything can happen. There's no way even trying to speculate, I think, because, yeah, all kind of craziness. When you have faster guys at the back, well, theoretically faster guys, statistically speaking, throughout the season, and then slower guys at the front, they're all just going to converge in the middle, technically, or, you know, hypothetically, so... at some point halfway through the race, we're going to have just a massive clump of cars on top of each other, I think. Yep.
Certainly be interesting. Ripper in his Lamborghini. There's a couple of cars that are following him. I'm not entirely sure who they were. Cryptic, and there's McLaren just coming into the bus stop there as well. Pretty key corner, especially getting a good exit coming off it. It's pretty easy to pick up a slowdown penalty coming through the bus stop chicane, so that's one to watch out for. If you see any of the drivers going up high on the banking and lifting coming through turn 12, which we're watching Cryptic come through at the moment, then you'll know that they've pretty much got a slowdown penalty that they're trying to clear. Otherwise, it's pretty difficult to get a slowdown penalty anywhere else. I think it's only really the bus stop that's the easiest place to pick it up, but be interesting to see if people can avoid those, especially in the first few laps where you've got the dirty air as well. It's really going to affect the cars. It's going to induce quite a bit more understeer and oversteer into the car's balance, and the drivers will need to factor that in until they can get a little bit clearer air. But obviously they'll want to stick fairly close to the competitors in front so they can pick up that slipstream, and also potentially do a little bit of fuel saving as well when it actually comes to the pit stops, because obviously they have a mandatory pit stop, but I don't think, or I'm almost certain, that the drivers won't be able to do the entirety of the 90 minutes on one tank of fuel.
No, I think usually for these 9.5 races that they've had to add some amount of fuel at least into the car to make it the distance. So most likely going to be the same case today, and of course around the track which is so much flat out, there's going to be a lot of fuel burning as well. And as you mentioned that slowdown penalty that they could get at the bus stop, that's going to be so crucial to avoid, isn't it, with that humongous straight coming after it. If you have to slow down to try and avoid a penalty as well, it's going to lose you quite a lot of time, as Scott is driving around with a interestingly shaped Porsche at the moment.
It's a bit banged up.
Just a bit.
He's the last man across the line, I believe. Everyone else is in the pits.
Yep. Which means the, well, it says qualifying session, but it's essentially practice session. As qualifying is not going to matter for this one. But CJB in practice is the man on the pace. That is, well, one of his home tracks, the American. So, here we have then the 25-man grid. Let's check that it's actually still 25. Yep, it is indeed, so no one's been disconnected as yet, which is good to see. And yeah, it's basically going to be a 2-lap formation lap now, isn't it?
I believe so. I was instructed that we were, but it looks like that we're not doing the in-game formation lap as we originally planned, and we're instead going to the rolling start. So I'm not too sure if we are going to be doing 2 laps or 1 lap. What could be happening is they're possibly just risking it by doing the 1 lap, although that's a car
yeah,
off the
we've
bridge
lost the
straight
car
away.
there. And that was, let's see, who had the second fastest time?
Villalobos. It was Villalobos has gone.
Well, I believe Villalobos has had some connection issues earlier in the season as well, but that's not a good time for it to happen.
No. Hopefully. Well, I doubt that's going to be the cause for a lobby restart. It's only been one driver who has dropped, so that's really unfortunate for him that has happened.
Yep, everyone else seems to be sitting patiently. The cameraman is pretty impatient as well. He can't keep his camera still.
It's very windy up there.
It is, must be, yeah. He's sitting high up on the grandstand. Or on a camera pole somewhere. Oh, even higher now. There we go, zooming in on Capo, who now will be starting the formation lap at the back of the field, but
he's in the Ferrari.
He is in the Ferrari, yeah, I was just gonna say. He has done a car swap. Oh, dearie me! Cars have started moving very suddenly here, and there's been some nudging maybe in the back there. Some cars were getting very close anyway, and that...
Some penalties.
Oh, dearie me.
This...
Oh, that is interesting.
Is almost going to be...
Yeah, they've surely been told there's going to be a restart here, because cars are starting to do donuts currently.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no way in hell that we're going to be starting with that lobby.
Oh, I just saw cars jumping in the air as well, and there's lovely sky though.
Sky.
Yeah, not bad.
And there's a baby. So yeah, we shall get that lobby relaunched. I did wonder why the formation lap setting wasn't enabled. I did try to warn them about that as well in the chat, but yeah, evidently it didn't get changed. Well, I was in here in the commentary box, and they're way down there on the racetrack. It's obviously quite a big distance, especially when they're in race cars as well. And
need a megaphone.
Potentially a bit around the circuit, yeah. Exactly. So hopefully we'll get a lobby restarted momentarily, and hopefully we'll have the right settings. I imagine this time we'll probably just go straight into the race rather than doing the qualifying session like we did prior, and just hoping with everything fingers and toes crossed that everything goes smoothly and the start of the race.
Indeed. So yeah, there shall be a race eventually, guys. Don't you worry. But we appreciate your patience, of course. But I would, well, you can feel free to go somewhere, get some refreshments for the next few minutes, but I wouldn't
Make
go
sure you come
anywhere.
back.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you come back, because I'm pretty sure, without actually knowing what's going to happen, I'm quite certain you do not want to miss what is going to happen.
Indeed.
So then, hello to everyone who's joined us in the chat. As usual, tons of shouts for Yamo, which is always fun to see. Did anyone say Yarmo? I think they did.
I did, yeah. A couple of people are putting money on Yamo. It does seem like the lobby is up. So when you come Fizzy. And the formation lap setting is on this time.
Way.
Cool. Yeah, saw a few people backing Yamo for the win. He's starting, well, he's 14th in the championship. So 25th. He'll be starting 9th. He's in a pretty good position. He's been showing some pretty good form so far. So, yeah, I reckon he could be a relatively decent shout. He's got, who has he got in front of him? Nesterovic, ADA, Stakuza, Suomi, Scott, Godfather of Shift, Pantera, JK. Actually, JK and Bo have both pulled out of the season, and I can't see 24th and beyond.
So Alexis is 24th in the championship, and he's usually a pretty fast guy, isn't he? So he's going to be starting quite far up there. And of course, Capo in his Ferrari.
He'll be near the front.
Interested to see a Ferrari back on the grid for the first time all season. We of course thought, well, I certainly thought, that once the Ferrari was unbanned ahead of season 12, that we'd see a lot more drivers going back to it, considering how many Ferraris there were, well, in the previous season where it was allowed. But yeah, we had to wait until the 7th race to actually see a single Ferrari, which to me anyway was quite surprising.
Yeah. Seems to be pretty popular with the Mercedes AMG and Lamborghinis at the moment. They seem to be the car that is, or two cars that are trending in terms of pace. Guessing setup knowledge is probably a factor to do with that as well, as I did see actually not too long ago at the start of season 11, just beforehand, there was a forum post with the gentleman who made the Project Cars 2 tuner tool. I put out a load of data with in terms of downforce relating to ride height for the Lamborghini Huracan. Now, funnily enough, that season the Huracan was the most favoured car. I don't know whether because of that post and people saw that, and if there was a direct correlation, or it just so happened to be that people were very interested and very happy in running the in the Lamborghini, and it provided to be a strong car.
A strong car, yes.
A strong car.
Well, yeah, certainly seems to be convenient, doesn't it? But yeah, the Lamborghini has certainly done well as well in recent seasons. Jada, of course, winning the championship 3 times in a row in it, so it can't be that bad. And of course, yeah, another slight surprise to me anyway. The Mercedes AMG, of course, with Dalkin operator, is being the dominant car. But it could, of course, just be because it's the 2 dominant drivers that are driving it. But last season, when Dalking was also in the Lamborghini, if I remember correctly, just like Jadir, he certainly wasn't as far ahead of Jadir as he has been this season. But yeah, at the same time, Jadir has recovered quite a bit in the last few races. Of course, 2 wins in the last 3 rounds. So it could just be that Jadir had a bit of a dip at the start of the season, which is the main reason he's quite far behind in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, the 2 THR boys, Operator and Dalking, they were in the SMSR Challenger Shootout last Thursday, and they both put on a very dominant performance there as well, taking the top 2 steps of the podium. So they certainly got the pace between them. Jardier wasn't in that race. I don't know if he is going to be competing in any of the future rounds, as I just saw a car sliding off towards the pit lane. That's Villalobos.
Oh my god, what's happened there? Oh no, he's actually hit the... Okay. Well...
Should be okay, I would have thought, but
he'll be fine.
yeah, this time around we're doing the actual in-game formation lap. We're going straight into the race this time as well. So what the guys will actually do is they'll do the in-game formation lap in the positions that they actually are, and following the rules of the in-game formation lap. Then what we'll do is a second formation lap once they've come across the line, or once we've got the green light. The drivers will basically slow down, form themselves into the correct racing order, and then we'll do our usual AOR manual rolling start, and the guys will get underway and get racing with that. It seems that Villalobos...
Yeah, he's actually stating that he is in the pits at the moment. So
Oh, there goes 4.
I think it's another issue.
4 people have just retired. I'm just seeing... actually, sorry, 5 people have retired. Yamo, Starovic, 2 Desert Pack, Chloe, and Capo have all retired from the race for whatever reason. But yeah, Villalobos is in the pits. I imagine just seeing some more people retiring.
Maybe he was not supposed to be in the pits, and that's the reason for the restart. Because I don't understand why he would be in the pits at this point.
Potentially. He may think he may have a... may have had a bug where he can't... click ready up or something like that, despite being in the session. So hopefully third time lucky. I hope.
Usually third time lucky, isn't it? That usually tends to work.
Yeah, we are also testing out a dedicated server here as well. Just seeing if that is going to be of any benefit to us and proves to be a little bit more stable than the normal peer-to-peer server. Or peer-to-peer lobbies that we tend to run. I think
it's been an interesting debut, to say the least.
Yeah, I think Daytona may have been a bit of an unusual choice as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's not a traditional circuit in the sense that you can do a standing start from. You are forced to do a manual. You're forced to do a rolling start, should I say, from the oval section, because banking and standing starts do not go well. Especially when you get a little bit of wheel spin, you tend to find that the rear end of the car sags down towards the bottom of the banking. You find yourself pointing 45 degrees up towards the barrier at the top of the banking. That makes for some interesting starts in development before we decided no, it's going to be rolling starts only.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to a bit of wheel spin off the line there, but. Yeah,
it'd just be chaos in public lobbies.
Indeed. Well, we just have to take a bite of the patient apple. I don't know if that's the saying, but I've just made one, so deal with it.
Kind of works. I think that is a new saying. I haven't heard that before. Yeah, hopefully we'll get the server up and running, and hopefully things will go a lot smoother this time round. I see a server. I'm hoping that said server is populated with people. It is populated with people, so it seems like the server is back up again.
Nice one. Yeah, last week, if I remember correctly, was pretty okay in terms of...
I believe. Yeah, I think we ran peer-to-peer last week rather than dedicated server. I think this is the first time running the DS in a number of seasons.
Yeah, so it's essentially a bit of a test going on at the moment here, and currently slightly failing, but as you said, hopefully third time lucky and it will pass the test. Waiting for a few more drivers to get back into the server here. Patient, yeah, I don't know, Cage. I'm just saying words. But feel free to use my my new saying. I will not copyright it, so EU can't stop you.
Okay. I'm having a proper good bite of that patient apple at the moment. Hopefully this time it gets yeah. Hopefully this time it's all goes all nice and smoothly.
Indeed, and just listen to this beautiful music as well. You know, we should be pleased about more menu time, because just listening to this lovely tune. Let's see. It's gonna be pretty late night, isn't it, Yoki?
Hopefully not too late.
Hopefully it'll fly by once the racing gets going.
Yeah. Oh, what time is it now? It's 25 to 9 UK time. So we're... What, it's going to be an hour and a half. So, not probably about 10 past, quarter past 10 UK time. 10 past, quarter past 11. Some guys over in Europe. Obviously for operator it's not too bad. He's over in the US.
Yeah, he's just chilling, middle of the day for him. Same with CJB as well. Cage, I'm pretty sure they did test this server yesterday. I know that most of the drivers tend to have a test race on the Tuesday, or quite a few of them anyway. A race with a mix of drivers from the 5 PC tiers that I believe we currently have. But of course I personally don't know how that test went.
Neither do I, unfortunately. I assume things went okay. I didn't hear anything bad on the forums about it.
So it's just one of those typical situations, really. That issues happen when you least want them, basically. Let's see. I think we might be missing one driver from the lobby at the moment.
Dowking just got connected. There is one driver. Hopefully they can get back in relatively soon. Other than... Actually, there's one other driver as well. I'm not entirely sure who that other driver was.
Godfather of Shift, I think.
I think you're right, as I do not see him.
This sad music coming on now is very appropriate. Oh, there we go. Well, there was just a lovely piano, but it's picking up again. It's getting good again. Yeah, no worries. The hope is back. The music is bringing back the hope.
There we go. Godfather Shift is now in the lobby as well, so hopefully we'll be launching in just a second, so everyone's happy that they're in the right cars.
Here we go. I'll be getting ready to launch once again. Yeah, there we go. Should be all good now. Hopefully. This patient apple needs to be pretty big, but hopefully everyone has a massive apple that they're currently chewing on as they wait.
I think it's a pretty big tree. There's just plenty of apples to share.
Might have to start chewing on the tree in a second if this happens again.
Yeah.
So got some Italian fans now in the chat cheering for Adalexis. He will of course be in with a good shot in this race. He's going to be starting quite far high up on the grid for this reverse grid order, which unfortunately means of course that he has not had the best season so far in terms of scoring points, but he has missed some races as well. And this is going to be a good opportunity for him to get a nice haul of points on the board. So, then we are back on the track for the third time, which hopefully will be the third time lucky. Godfather or Shift sitting in that top spot, but of course that will all be jumbled about once the rolling starts gets going, and the drivers will form up in the grid order, which will be based on the reverse championship order, except for any drivers such as Chloe, who only debuted last week, who have only finished one race or less. They will be starting behind the guys at the top of the championship.
Yep. So it seems like everyone's in this time. Things seem to be a little bit more stable. From the quick flick through that I did just then, I didn't see any cars moving around. So yeah, the guys are just taking their 2-minute period just to double check setups, pit strategies, make sure that everything is all sorted there and they are good to go. But hopefully the guys will have already done that, and hopefully we can get underway with the first of these 2 formation laps relatively quickly.
Oh my goodness, we got a flying BMW. Hopefully land safely. There we go, I think it did. And the cars are rolling. Haven't seen any casualties. Looking pretty good at the moment.
Yep, doesn't seem like anyone's got any penalties. I see Yarmo has got a bit of damage on the front of his car, but hopefully that's not real damage. If they have picked up any damage in this first of the 2 formation laps, once they get to the end of this, they can go off ahead in front of the rest of the grid and go on to basically go into the pits, get that damage repaired. But obviously in doing so, they lose the position that they'll be starting in, and they have to wait at the end of the pit lane, wait for the entirety of the pack to come through before they can rejoin at the pack. You see that Dakuza has got himself a penalty at the moment. 5 seconds that he has to his name, so I'll note that one down.
Yeah, of course, any penalties picked up now on the formation lap will the drivers will be able to get that removed in the stewards panel after the race. It's one of those formalities, which of course shouldn't pick up any penalties on the formation lap. That's not gonna matter for the race, especially as the cars are not even in their correct order yet.
Yeah.
Interesting camera angle. Bird's view coming through turn 6. And on to the first of the long straights on the banking.
Yeah, Golf Over Shift just maintaining his speed. Can't go up above 120 kph on this rolling start. We're staying quite safely below that, providing that everyone stays within 100 meters of the car in front of them. They won't pick up any penalties, and of course do also avoid making contact with any of the other drivers and don't overtake them either. So the guys are just trundling along at the moment. Once they get the green light, drivers won't be racing. They'll get formed up in their correct grid positions, but we'll also see any drivers who do have any damage probably rush to the pit lane to go get that damage repaired, and then join up at the back of the field. So when it Godfather Shift comes out the exit of turn 12, this long speedway banking, we get that green light countdown commence, and get the drivers into their proper formation positions.
Yep. Come on, other Lexus, spreading fear like a lethal virus. Some interesting shouts for the Lexus happening in the chat at the moment. But yeah, here we are then, coming to the end of the first of the 2 formation laps, which means very shortly the drivers should be pulling off to the left and start moving very slowly in order for the grid order to be properly sorted out for the race start. So the pole man, as we have the light effects, there we go, that's the game formation lap sorted. We shall now be having the manual AOR formation lap, as we have lost one driver, as you said. Not sure who that was.
Someone near the front of the grid, but not in the actual correct position. So now the guys are slowing down to sort themselves out.
Can confirm it was not one of our 2 championship rivals. Dalking and Operator still in the session.
It's not Empower.
Let's see. We still have the double jar, so we got Jadir and Jamo both still in the session as well. The Lexus is still here. for his fans. Don't have to be worried.
Here we have the little bit of a car park situation.
Yeah, so Alexis is going to be starting this. Let's see, so Tudesapak is going to be our pole man. Alexis has gone up to second. I wonder actually if Capo might actually be at the back just because he's changed cars. So it's essentially as if he has only finished 0 races going into this one.
It seems like it, considering he's moved himself to the back of the grid. I think Chloe may be doing so as well.
Yeah, Chloe will be at the back, having only done 1 race. So Tudesapak will be on pole then, ahead of Alexis it seems. Kovacs David, I believe is not here. He would have been starting second.
He could be one of the drivers. We have also lost 1 more as well. We're now down to 23 people. So Kovacs David, I think, was one of the drivers that I did see disappear earlier.
Right.
The race feed is currently going nuts as all the drivers are changing positions.
Lindholz reckons he might have got disqualified for overtaking too early. So that would have been before the lights went out, as we have a car in the barrier now. Not sure how that's happened.
Yeah, Yama's just found the wall. I think he was doing some pretty excessive tyre weaving.
Yeah, so and Ed the Ace as well. Oh, and he's hit another wall, trying to rejoin the track. And another one. I'm very confused as to what is happening currently.
As am I. I am not entirely sure that we are going to be racing, considering the way some people are driving. There's Pantera and Golf over a shift.
Yeah, I think we might be looking at
another
issue here. It wasn't that unlucky. Well, the higher forces have let us down.
Indeed. So yeah, I'm going to assume that we're going to be dropping the dedicated server and possibly going peer-to-peer. Either that or abandoning the round and possibly going on at a later date.
Yep.
And everything has just locked up for me.
Same, so it might just be the server getting shut down, potentially. Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like server or game or everything combined just is not in the ballpark today, in terms of wanting to get things going. Cosmos wanted to see Yamo crush. Well, unfortunately, not sure you're going to see Yamo do anything today, the way it's going. We will wait for official word, of course, before giving up here.
Yeah. Hopefully the guys can get something sorted and we can get some kind of form of racing action to provide to you guys, because this is starting to get a little bit frustrating now.
Yeah,
and I think we need more apples.
We need a lot of patient apples at the moment. Oh my goodness me. Well, we appreciate those 42 of you who are still sticking around and being patient with us. Of course, everyone comes on the stream, you and us alike, and the drivers, of course, as well, to see some good racing action. But yeah, unfortunately, technical issues can occur at times, which takes that away, which is, of course, very frustrating indeed. But I'm sure we will be finishing the season in good style, whether it be 1 or 2 weeks later than planned.
Yeah. Although, posing a question to you, Fizzy, if this round does get abandoned, will it also be rerun at a later date, or will we only be rerunning the one round of Nürburgring?
That's
Sure it was.
Yeah, I think at times in the past there's been a maximum of one rerun. So we'll have to. That's something for the coordinators to discuss, of course.
Yeah.
After this, so we'll have to see that over the next week. What is decided with regards to this race, and whether it's going to be the Nürburgring race or this one actually getting that rerun spot in the end. In that case, it would be slightly unusual to end the season with a reverse grid race, I would say. So. Probably more realistic for the Nürburgring race to remain as the final round if there's only one rerun that will happen. But we'll see, of course. Yeah, I'm not going to be confirming or denying anything at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I was just yeah, wondering how that would work. Whether the guys will get the second shot at this race, or whether we wouldn't. But yeah, it seems like the lobby is back up once again, so hopefully we can get set up and going once more.
Oh, my head's burning up, in case anyone was wondering. My headset's too hot.
Oh no. Don't do that. Don't double check for fire. Make sure there's no fire.
Oof. I think an engine has blown up inside my ear. Right. Well, it looks like we're gonna be trying to get the server back up for a fourth time lucky. I'm not sure that's a thing though.
We'll see.
We'll see indeed.
Yeah. Currently just waiting on 4 more drivers. Come back in. I know the Ripper is one of them. There he is. Who else are we waiting for? Villalobos was one, so was Suomi. So I believe it should be just one more, and then we should be good to go.
One more driver to get into the lobby. Double header cage, that would be interesting if we we had a single night of Nürburgring plus Daytona at the end of the season. I'm not sure how the drivers would cope with that one. It's going to be hard practicing for 2 races in for the same night, and of course it's going to be a lot of driving for them to do in one go.
Yeah,
it'll be a proper Ironman type event in that case.
Especially if we're doing the full distance for both races, so that'll be an hour, 2.5 hours worth of racing, which will be great for us.
It's going to be like an endurance, like a proper endurance race, just with a bit of a track jump in between.
Yeah, certainly seems like it. But yeah, seems like the lobby is launching now. We've now got 8 DAs in. We've got the full 27 people in, including myself and Fizzy, so giving us the full 25 drivers. And we are back into the loading screen. And hopefully
time lucky.
Yes, everything crossed. Fingers crossed, eyes crossed, ears crossed, toes crossed.
We need everyone in the chat,
crossed.
I think, to cross all of your beings to make this work. Yeah.
Hopefully it'll hold steady.
Look at all the fans in the crowd there as well.
Yeah, I know, they've been sat there patiently waiting.
All those fans sitting there. They're just
get underweight.
There we go. Well, they're still there. The fans still waiting, eating their popcorn or whatever you want to eat.
And nope.
And that was the 4th time lucky. So yeah. I wonder what the issue was this time. Because that was very quick, wasn't it?
Well, one thing I was going to question is if the dedicated server is providing us with issues this evening, why are we still using the dedicated server? I
That's
was
a
thinking
question.
that time round, we were going to go to peer-to-peer.
Would require everyone to relaunch their game, of course, but I mean, surely it wouldn't take longer than whatever time we've been waiting so far.
Yep.
You'd think at this point it might also start to get be too late for some drivers. For example, let's see, do we have the Kuza, for example, Finnish driver? They're going to be 2 hours ahead of UK time, so it's getting late, isn't it?
Yep. It's 3 minutes to 9, so even if we get underway now, it'll be what, 10:30 GMT time. So some drivers that's going to be 11:30 in the evening, and as you say, those over further east in Europe will be midnight. So I think this could potentially be a abandonment. Possibly.
Drivers, start your engines. And it's gone. Well, you'll see. I think once any drivers start dropping out from the Discord server, that might be a good sign. But they're all still there at the moment, so we shall see.
There's 24. I'm just messaging Dakuza on what's happening. He's closed his game down.
The question is that to restart to go for a peer-to-peer test, or is it to actually leave it at that?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I think I shall hop down and find out.
Yep. Go ahead.
What? Oh, yeah, we're ditching around.
Ditching the
Just got a message back from Dakuza, so yep, we are unfortunately not going to be racing this evening.
Ah, man. Well, that's a big shame, of course. Yeah, everyone was hoping for some good action tonight, and it was set up to be a very exciting race at Daytona. So it's going to be, yeah, we'll have to wait for official word later in the week as to whether it's going to be a postponement or just an abandonment. In terms of this particular race, of course, we know that there was already a race postponed earlier in the season, so that's the Nürburgring round that will be taking place at the end of the planned season. Whether this will be added on top of that or just left behind, we will have to wait and see. Drivers will understandably be frustrated. Also, there had been some shouts from various parties to go for a dedicated server after issues with the peer-to-peer as well earlier in the season, but yeah, I think not been a too successful attempt at that, it seems. So in any case, let's hope that next week we'll be back to normal with a race that shall be, let's have a look at the calendar again. Next week should be at Snetterton, the 3rd of April, for a normal qualifying and race around there. Another very technical circuit then, so a completely different one to what we would have had here today at Daytona. And not one of my personal favorite tracks to drive, but luckily I don't have to drive it. I'm just here to watch people drive that track. So the drivers who actually know how to drive, they can provide us with the action next week. Shout out to all the drivers, well, the drivers for being patient as well, I guess, and everyone watching this for being patient with us. Of course, apologies that we can provide you with the action. Jess, Sioki, as usual, for joining me for this radio broadcast.
That's quite alright. Hopefully next time things will go a lot smoother, and hopefully we can actually get some racing coverage for you guys. It's always obviously pretty disappointing and a little bit frustrating from our end as well when we have nights like this where we just run into various technical issues after technical issues.
Yep. Well, next week, let's cross our fingers that that's going to be a normal round again at Snetterton for round, well, let's call it round 7 then, of the championship. 4 races to go, or 3, we'll have to wait and see, of the season. And close championship battle still to be fought out between Dalking and Operator. So stay tuned next week, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and good night.